Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today for Tuesday, November 25th, 2 days before Thanksgiving. My name is Ken Shreve. Wow, what a day for the stock market. Looking at the Russell 2000 Small Cap Index ending with a gain of 2.2%. Seems like that sell off last Thursday far in the rearview mirror. Great day for blue chips as well. Before we get into a nice bullish up session for the stock market, let me bring in our news editor, who Ed Carson, who, as usual, has got three stocks to watch. Good afternoon, Ed.
Good afternoon, Ken. I want to take a look at Lam Research, Kinross Gold, and Intuitive Surgical.
Okay, three familiar names here. Before we talk about those names, let's go ahead and take a look at the stock market today. As promised, it was kind of a rough start at the beginning. We had some news regarding Nvidia and. It was kind of a rough start for semiconductor stocks, but just taking a look at the close here. Here's the NASDAQ composite, which lagged a little bit, but got a close above the 50-day moving average, closed just below last Thursday's high here. You can see that the sell-off last Thursday closed just below that high. But even though the NASDAQ lagged, still a solid closed up 0.7%. Mentioned blue chips outperformed today. Here's a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, bullish move above all of its moving averages today. That was up finally. Settled for a 1.4% gain. Mentioned the Russell 2000 outperformed by a wide margin. Look at that bullish move above the 50-day moving average. Russell 2000 up 2.25%, and then the S&P 500 ending with a gain of 0.9%. That also cleared a key technical level, and looks like it closed right near that high from last Thursday. So, Ed, we did have some news, and just mentioned the Philadelphia, or the SMH, the VanEck Semiconductor ETF. That closed near its high. It did lag today, only up 0.3%, and we did have some weakness in semiconductor stocks today. Nvidia did pair losses, still ended with a loss of 2.6%. AMD was also weak today. That ended lower by a little over 4%. But the Nasdaq ended pretty decent today. Pretty bullish day for the Nasdaq. Why don't you just talk a little bit about the chip weakness early in the session?
Yeah, there was news out. There was a report uh, that Meta is going to be buying a bunch of Google AI chips, which those chips are made with Broadcom, and that would just mean more competition for NVIDIA and AMD with their GPUs. That maybe these custom chips would do it. It's not just the lost sales; it's the lost pricing, perhaps. And again, this is just out there. It doesn't mean it'll happen, but it just
Hmm.
when you think that just raises the issue there. Google kept on rising, and Broadcom kept on rising, but it was still impressive to see that SMH turned positive. The Nasdaq, all the major indexes, and Nvidia's in all the major indexes, but all the major indexes and the small caps are going above the 50-day line. The Dow clearly above last Thursday's high, as you mentioned. The S&P just did momentarily, but is essentially there. Really, really impressive performance. A lot of leading stocks doing well. I would say this is a time to be starting to add exposure. And again, it's a little bit, you don't have to go all from 0 to 100. I mean, if you were at 5%, 10%, maybe if you add 10% a day, if this market rally is worth its salt, you will have opportunities to become heavily invested fairly quickly. So, just be looking for those opportunities. But if but because we could still reverse. I mean, we've had so many up and down days. You just don't want to get into that situation where you buy at the highs of a day and then you fall down 2% the next day and your stocks are down 4 or 5%, even if the market's okay. So time to be moving in, adding a little bit of exposure day by day, assuming the market tells you that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. We looked at the equal weighted RSP ETF that made a bullish move today. So this was just a really a day of the major stock indexes reclaiming a lot of their key moving averages. RSP did the same, came very close to breaking out of a downtrend today, up above its 50-day moving average. QQEW, equal weighted version of the Nasdaq 100. You can see that is still below its 50-day moving average. That still could be a potential resistance level to watch. Now, so that's the QQEW. When you look at QQQ, the Nasdaq 100 ETF, that is still, it's closed right at its 50-day moving average here, still trying to get above that high from Thursday. So maybe the Nasdaq 100, as measured by the Qs, still technically challenged here, but overall, really solid day for the broad market.
It's
We
really
do
getting
have
over
that.
those levels, and with Nvidia, I mean, it's just again, it could have been
Yeah.
easy. This is a day where we could have just fallen back because you hit resistance and you fall back, and the
Hmm.
Nvidia news gave a perfect excuse for the indexes to do that, and the chips, and it didn't, and it didn't. So
And
that to do it at that important point, it's sort of like, oh, it's fine to do fine on your homework, but do you actually want to pass the test, like the big midterm or something like that? You want to do well on that, and so this was an important day, and the market really did stand tall when there were reasons to say, you know what, I'm going to back off today.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it really was an outstanding day because, like you said, some of your big chip leaders really did not participate, but there were plenty of stocks around that that were able to perform well. And again, to see SMH reverse slightly higher, and again, Broadcom looks like it's on the verge of a breakout here. So you've got names like Nvidia and AMD struggling, yet Broadcom is up near all-time highs here. You look at the weekly chart here, and is really a picture of technical strength. Seeing a lot of strength in the chip equipment group. Why don't we start by taking a look at Lam Research, which is actually a name that we put on the leaders list today for the leaderboard model portfolio. We did add a little chip equipment exposure here because we liked how the stock came down and is testing its 10-week moving average here. So Ed, I'm not going to steal your thunder. Talk about Lam Research here.
Well, you were the lightning because this is, you guys putting on a leaderboard put it on my attention to maybe bring it up. And David Ryan was saying this on IBD Live. Look, you want to be looking for stocks that held up reasonably well, either held their 50-day line or quickly got back above it. And this is more of that latter. Don't go for those winners that plunge through their 50-day line and are still struggling to get above. Wait for that. This showed resilience. So today bouncing off the 50-day and 10-week line, it sort of got above yesterday's high, I believe, sort of breaking a trend line above the 21-day line. I think if you go on a weekly, this is, I assume, the first time since maybe that 100 level that it's sort of tested that 10-week line, 50-day line. So this is a buyable opportunity to get on there. Yeah, pretty clearly there was buying opportunities at 100, but since then this is your first opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So I think this is definitely actionable. There's still a lot going on here. The growth is turned around. You see in the last several quarters, still supposed to be solid growth going forward. So a lot to like here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And on IBD Live, like you said, there are some former leaders that are really struggling here, and there are a lot of growth investors that are going to be trying to catch a name like Credo on sale. And here's a stock that it's trying to come back up through the 50-day moving average. There was a bad break right here. I mean, this stock isn't finished yet, but you just want to be careful with the names that are having problems. Trying to reclaim their 50-day lines. There's a name like Robinhood, which is fell sharply below the 50-day line. This has still got a ways to go to get back above the 50 days. So you just want to be careful with some of the former leaders that have fallen far below their 50-day lines. That could be a while before they reclaim them. So So, all right. Well, after LRCX, a gold name that has been doing quite well is Kinross Gold, KGC, and still seeing a lot of gold stocks setting up here. Kinross Coal closed a little bit off highs, but showing good support here at the 50-day moving average after a nice breakout here back in late July, early August, and just kind of trending here right near the 50-day moving average.
Yeah, I mean, gold had a really big break after sort of gotten really crazy how bad, much the run was going up. But can still go on and may still be able to do that again. The Fed likely to cut rates, pressures the dollar, makes gold more attractive. There's sort of that downward sloping trend line. You could sort of treat the recent action as an emerging handle and sort of a messy cup with handle. So I think if it gets,
Hmm.
you could have bought here today. It's close to the 50-day line. You could basically use a move above today's high, or you would basically be above the recent highs. So you could use that as well. The earnings have been strong. Yeah, they're going to slow down just because you figure the price is going to slow down, but they're really just generating a lot of profit here. And it's a little bit, you can see how this one did much better during the pullback. This is an area that's not as quite as in tune. If you have a bunch of high beta growth names, which you don't want to be having right now, I think this is not that time. But this is a name that can balance out a portfolio a little bit, so not everything plunges at once.
Yeah, gold finding a new home above 4,000 an ounce. And we have so many gold stocks in the database with composite ratings of 98 or 99. And it's just because so many have excellent earnings and revenue growth in recent quarters. And Kinross, just one of many examples here. That bottom line, 200% growth, 214, 83% in the latest quarter. So, and you look at the annual earnings estimates here, they're expected to grow the bottom line 150% this year to $1.70. Next year, they're expected to earn 230 a share, up 35%. So great growth story here. And the weekly chart for Kinross is just showing a nicely trending stock, and then a new base forming here. It's going to be 6 weeks old by the end of this week, and still a stock that could try to break out again with a relative strength line up near new high ground. All right, final stock we'll take a look at today is in the healthcare space, and this is Intuitive Surgical, which is very well known for their Da Vinci robotic surgical system. And, very positive response to earnings back here where the stock gapped up in price, but has been handling this gap up very well. Pull back to the 21-day moving average and could try to break out again here very soon.
Yeah, and you probably could have bought it today. It sort of made a nice move. I think Leaderboard raised its position on ISRG today. So there's the 552 area. It came back. That's a little disappointing, but you can also see how the relative strength didn't give up a lot of ground, when it came back down. And as you can see how it was hitting new highs, recent new highs. It's not at new highs, but recent highs a few days ago, barely before it was moving. So it was showing some real strength, and a lot of medicals are showing strength. I mean, it's not, but
Hmm.
this one's just acting really well. And, the biotechs, a lot of them are moved out. This is still, I think, is in range, and so that's just something you want to definitely be looking for on your watch list. You don't want to, how aggressive you are, different ones will be different. Some will be more aggressive and less, but you definitely want to be ready to act, and you want to have these things on your watch list because you don't want to be waiting around and say, oh, now it's 650. I want to buy this now. I was like, well, you had a lot, maybe, then it becomes really riskier. So work on these things, look for stocks that are showing relative strength, that are setting up or moving into buy zones. Because it could be that over the next several days, you want to be picking up your exposure quite a bit over that span.
All right. Well, that sounds good. I haven't even had a chance to check the earnings calendar
There
this
are a
week. I
few
know it's
things
going to
after the
be
close
pretty
today.
quiet.
Yeah, there is a
Okay. Well,
couple. Amba. I
let's
like to
take a
say
look
Amber
then.
from just
Oh,
in honor of
Ambarella.
Survivor. Ambarella, AMBA. That initially sold off. I don't know how the results were, but AMBA initially sold off, is now down more modestly. This is the one report that was holding above the 50-day line. So maybe it can still do that. It was down like 8% initially. Zscaler, which I think people care about because of some of the cybersecurity names, this one is not as doing as well, and it hadn't been doing as well, and it's selling off. So those are two of the bigger names out there, and there's others.
Okay.
But so obviously Zscaler wasn't in position anyway. But CrowdStrike was moving back into position. It has earnings next week, and so I think it'll be interesting to see how CrowdStrike behaves from this.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there's a lot of people are rushing to get out the door. Almost all the earnings reports are out tonight. There may be one or two tomorrow morning, but everybody's ready to head out for Thanksgiving. Probably going to be light volume on Wednesday, and of course on the half day on Friday.
Half day of trading on Friday, and a full day of trading tomorrow. It'll be
That's
probably
what I
a
believe. Yeah.
yeah low volume session tomorrow. No doubt about it. All right. Well, very good. Well, that will do it for today. Ed, as always, thank you very much for your commentary. We always appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken.
All right. I will see you tomorrow morning. I'll be hosting IBD Live. We'll get IBD Live started at 6:20 a.m. Tomorrow morning on the West Coast. That's 9:20 a.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be a great show. We'll give a lot of color over today's really nice gains. Again, the swing trader was busy adding a lot of stocks today. We put two names in the model portfolio yesterday, added two new names. We added a new name and we increased a position today. So seeing some opportunities and just basically just kind of just letting the market guide us here, not being overly aggressive, but respecting the bullish technical action today. So we will be discussing all of that tomorrow morning. So if you haven't checked out IBD Live, be sure to do so. Just go to investors.com/IBD Live. And Ed and I will be back here tomorrow. Just after the market close for another stock market today video. Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then I think it's going to be Ed and I Friday for the stock market today video. So we'll see you over the next for the next two stock market today videos. Thanks a lot for watching today, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, everybody.